Okay, I'm going to call this meeting of the Zoning Board to order. This is a meeting of the Whitman Zoning Board of Appeals for Monday, June 29th. The meeting is being recorded pursuant to town bylaws, and a recording audio recording will be put on the Whitman-Hanson Community Access website and YouTube page after the meeting. So we have tonight case number 7. Let me just say, so present tonight for members and associate members of the board, we have Mr. Jones, Mr. Winnett, Mr. Travers, Mr. Keenan, Mr. Curran, Mr. Kimball, Mr. Blas, and myself, John Goldrosen. Case tonight is case number 7. For 2026, location of property, 25 Rye Hill Street, type of district residential A1, type of structure proposed multifamily development with 7 duplex houses, owner's name Usa McQuinn Realty Trust, owner's address 61 Usa McQuinn Pines in East Bridgewater. When did you acquire this property? 2024. Has application been filed with town clerk? Yes. Has any previous appeal been made? No. Section of bylaw of which relief is requested, chapter 240-7.3C, to allow a multifamily development in the A1 zone, and also chapter 240-7.3C4, requesting a variance to reduce the required distance between buildings from 45 feet to 21 feet. Reason for asking relief, so it's site plan approval and a variance. Reason for asking relief, the applicant is proposing to demolish the existing single-family home and develop the 3.309 acre property to construct a residential duplex development with 7 duplexes, 14 living units in all. The applicant is seeking relief to allow for less distance between duplex houses to allow for more units. This case was advertised in the, let's see the dates, the Whitman-Hanson Express.
Brockton Enterprise.
I'm sorry, Brockton Enterprise. Much habits. There's 2 dates in June. Do you have it? I have it down in the piece of paper again. Well, I'll just note it was advertised on 2 dates in June as required by law. Sitting on the case will be Mr. Keenan, Mr. Curran, Mr. Kimball, Mr. Blas, and myself, John Goldrosen. But will be the voting members in this case, but the non-voting members, Mr. Jones, Mr. Winnett, and Mr. Travers, will be asked for their comments as well. So to the members of the public, the procedure we follow is we let the applicant make their full presentation. I'll then read into the record any letters and comments from town boards and departments and call on any town officials who wish to speak on it. We'll then have questions and comments from members of the board, and we'll then go out to you for your questions and comments. So, since this is a public hearing, we're taking testimony. We ask everybody who's participating to raise your right hand, to take an oath as you would in giving testimony in court. Do you solemnly swear the evidence you shall give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to ask for a motion to waive the reading of the list of abutters because it's very lengthy, as it includes all of the residents of the Beach Hill condominium complex. I will note for the record that the radius around this property includes houses in Hanson on Litchfield Lane, and all of those people were also sent notices in the meeting. So can I have a motion to waive the reading?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Kimball, second by Mr. Curran. All in favor? 5 in favor. Mr. Keenan, Curran, Kimball, Blas, and myself, John Goldrosen. And with that, I think I've done everything. Yeah, okay. All right. So if the representatives of the applicant would give us your names and then make your presentation.
All right. Hi, I'm Courtney Beckwith here from PMP Consulting to talk about American Realty. And
I'm Pat Carrar from PMP Consulting.
Do you have those names?
No.
Yeah. you spell
get
the
it after.
names or give us cards for our secretary.
I can do that.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we could start with the existing conditions and then go to proposed. All right. So we are talking about 25 Rye Hill Street. It's about 3.3 acre property with existing single family home. And then the majority of it is vegetated and very hilly, going down to these wetlands that were delineated in 2025 by Environmental Consulting Restoration. As a part of our filing for this project, we also filed a notice of intent with the Conservation Commission. We met with them a couple months ago and have continued our hearing with them until we were able to come here. So there are wetlands on the site, and we have a stormwater management report that Conservation has that I'd be happy to talk about, but we can move on to Alright, so this is our vision for what we'd like to develop the site into. This is 7 duplex units for a total of 14 living units. We have proposed a driveway that comes in, and each unit has its own single car parking lot. And most of the units also have a single car garage up here, except for this one unit. 6 out of 7 have it, one does not. Because of zoning setbacks, we didn't want to ask to put the buildings closer together. We have a visitor parking area, a dumpster pad, and we're proposing to connect 2 municipal water and loop the line around. And we proposed a utility easement here to achieve that. You can see here these blue ponds are some of the drainage ponds that we designed to attenuate stormwater. And manage rain events up to a 100-year storm. And we have proposed some plantings and vegetations to try to make this visually appealing while preserving this existing vegetative buffer to the south for the abutters on Litchfield Lane.
Which road is 58?
58
Closest to her. Plum Street right here.
up on the street.
Yeah. Plymouth Street.
Okay. Okay. Yep, so we're proposing to connect to the town sewer as well. We have a proposed pump down here where we'll have gravity sewer into the pump and then force main up to the sewer in the street. So we won't need to do septics for each of these units. It'll all be connected to town sewer. And part of our proposal includes some catch basins, some deep sump catch basins to collect the sediment and oil and dirt from cars driving before it flows into the wetlands, into our detention pond and further into the wetlands. And we have a trench drain proposed along this front of the driveway here to prevent anything from flowing into Rye Hill Street that shouldn't be. All right. And then we are applying under Chapter 240-7.3 multifamily dwellings. And in our narrative that we submitted, we went through a couple of the applicable zoning bylaws. I can go through those. I'm not sure if that's a good use of time. Okay. All right. So For Part A, minimum lot size, the lot shall have not less than 87,000 square feet land area. We exceed that with 144,141 square feet. And then for density requirements for each dwelling unit constructed, there shall be a minimum equivalent of 6,000 square feet of lot area. So we have 14 dwelling units proposed, which requires a minimum equivalent of 84,000 square feet of lot area, and our lot is bigger than that, the 144,000 square feet. And then for the dimensional requirements, at least each building is at least 50 feet from any lot line that abuts the proposed development, and we did hold that. The smallest offset between the proposed building and abutting lot line is 50.5 feet. We kept the 50 feet from any street line, with the closest building being about 55 feet from the street line. 15 feet from any parking area. This is our visitor parking area, and other buildings are within that 15 feet buffer. And then the requirement for at least 45 feet apart is the requirement where we are asking for a variance. The requirement is for 40.
Thank you.
The requirements for 45 feet apart between the buildings, and we are requesting a variance to reduce that to 20 feet for some of these distances here. This sheet doesn't have all of them in between it, but the minimum, the smallest distance between two buildings that we have proposed is 21.4 feet. And then not more than 35 feet in height. These duplexes are designed, or the architectural show that they are 32 feet in height, so that's less than the 35-foot requirement. Let's see. So in keeping with building design placement to ensure maximum compatibility with surrounding land use and the general feel of the surrounding neighborhood, we took a lot of care in the design and the visual appeal of what these buildings would look like. So here's a colorized version of an architectural. You guys are able to see that back there? Thank you. Well, now they can't see me.
That's good.
All right. So we're hoping that this, in our opinion, this matches the character and feel of the neighborhood. And we're hoping that you agree. And then usable common space is defined as land left substantially in its natural state or developed for recreational use. So where you're claiming that as land left in its natural state, these dark green areas are the existing vegetation that we're not going to touch. That's going to remain as it is. There's some old growth forest in this corner over there that will remain, and that will meet our requirement for the usable common space. There shall be a satisfactory design and location of collection points for disposal of garbage and trash, adequately screened. So we do have a dumpster pad here, and we have it screened with 9 arborvitaes. So hopefully that'll do the trick. And then all existing and proposed utilities shall be installed underground at the time of construction. And we are proposing to do that. There is above ground electric on Rye Hill Street, but we are proposing to bring underground here for the remainder of the development of the transformer box on a concrete pad up here by the entrance. So screening buffers and to protect abutters from unsightly developments. We are proposing to maintain the existing trees along the southern property line, exceeding a 20-foot vegetative buffer, and existing trees on the western line by the wetlands will also be preserved. Eastern line. And then to the east are wetlands, and to the north is Rye Hill Street. Okay. And then for parking requirements, the driveway width shall fall within the following limits for multifamily. Minimum 20 feet, maximum 30 feet. We chose to use the minimum 20 feet to reduce overall impervious area and to provide a little more space for green area and lawn. So this driveway is 20 feet in, and the center line goes all the way to this last unit. A table of off-street parking regulations. So each 3-bedroom unit requires 2.6 spaces. There are 14 units, so it requires 36 spaces. And with each unit having a single car garage and a single car driveway, except for that one that doesn't have a garage. The total number of parking is 36, which is exactly the requirement. And then for the drainage section, the requirement is that all surface water drained from roofs, parking lots, streets, and other site features shall be disposed of in a safe and efficient manner, which shall not create problems of water runoff or erosion on the site in question or on other sites. And as I mentioned, we have submitted a notice of intent with the Conservation Commission, and with that notice of intent, we've submitted a stormwater report detailing the stormwater management facilities proposed in a little more detail, but it does include best management practices to treat stormwater runoff, and it does meet all of the Massachusetts stormwater management regulation standards. And that covers most of what I was going to speak on.
Do you want to talk a bit about the architecture in terms of the space within the units? Just give us an overview so everybody knows that part of it. And members of the board, there's a separate thing with the architectural drawings that I've left one at each table.
Are there copies of those? Okay.
This one's
Nick, why don't you take that one?
Thank you.
Yeah, I represent the 54 condo.
So here are the architectural drawings. This is the one for the units with a garage.
Okay.
The first page is the one without a garage. But you can see that it's a first floor garage and living space. And then the second floor, right above the garage, that primary bedroom uses that little bump out from the garage to sort of make up some of the living space that's lost by having the garage on the first floor.
And so there's 3 bedrooms on the second floor. And what is there in terms of 3 bedrooms, 2 baths on the second floor?
Yes, so there's the primary bedroom here.
Yeah.
1 bedroom, and then another bedroom here. And then there's a bathroom here and a bathroom here.
Okay.
The first floor has a half bath.
Okay. And above the second floor, because it seemed like a lot of space above the second floor. What is? It looks like that's 10 or 12 feet high. What is?
So this is what we have, is it looks like we've got the drive-in garage, you have the second floor. And I believe that's an attic space.
So is it a drop down stair attic?
I'm sorry. Can you wait till I go out to the public and look?
So we didn't do a very good job of defining that upper space, but
No, I can ask for clarification. and
Yeah,
get a
'cause I
plan, 'cause I didn't realize that there
I raise the issue because we've had other projects where, the attic space winds up being extra bedrooms or whatever, so that's an issue. And what about basement, particularly where you have units that are, do you have like a walkout basement
Yeah,
in
so
some
there's
cases?
gonna be an unfinished basement in the, 2/3 of the unit with a bulkhead in the back.
Okay,
And there will be stairway access.
okay,
This is,
all right.
this is lower than that.
Okay, before I go to reading letters from the board, other boards, just a couple of things to clarify. How much of the land, you said the total land area is like 3.3 acres. How much of that is BBW? How much of that is wetlands?
So if you look at the existing condition sheet,
Yeah.
the wetland line pretty much straddles right along that easterly property. So there's very little wetlands actually on that.
Oh, okay, that wasn't clear to me. Thank you. Okay. Another preliminary question, Courtney, you mentioned a utility easement. So that looks like it goes off of your properties. How's that? Who are you getting the easement from?
Okay, so early on in this project, I met with Public Works, and they requested that we try to find a way to loop the water main if possible. So I met with Adam Somerville. He lives in this last house right here, and this is his property.
Okay.
It comes around the end of Rye Hill, and this was the only place we could do the loop. And I know the applicant, he's talked to Mr. Somerville, I believe they've all been agreeable to granting that easement.
All right, so the property owners agreed to grant
Yeah.
that easement. Okay. All right, and the only other sort of preliminary point I want to make is, besides the variance for the distance between the buildings and obviously site plan approval, you actually also need a variance for the use table, which is section 240-5.4A12, because multifamily is allowed, 87,000 square feet, et cetera, but it's not an allowed use in either the A1 or A2 districts, so the project would need a variance from that provision as well. All right. With that, let me read letters into the record, and then we'll go out to members of the board. So we have a letter from the Board of Health. The Whitman Board of Health grants conditional approval to the petition of Alyssa McQuinn Realty Trust for variances from section 240.5.4A12 and section 240-7.3C4 and site plan approval under section 240-7.2 for the construction of 7 duplexes, a total of 14 dwelling units on the property located at 25 Rye Hill Street. Final approval is contingent on the new structures being connected to town water and town sewer. DPW records indicate the existing single-family structure is connected to town water and town sewer. Sincerely, Dan Kelly, health agent. From the Whitman Planning Board, the Planning Board reviewed the application and plans for 25 Rye Hill Street. A motion for unfavorable action was made by a vote of 401 with the following concerns: overall density of development, number of buildings proposed for the lot, insufficient spacing between structures, potential for overflow parking, especially with visitors, practicality of layout given site conditions, and concerns regarding emergency vehicle access, particularly for fire services. Thank you, Adam Somerville, Planning Board Chair. And from Whitman Fire Rescue and Emergency Services. At this time, Whitman Fire Rescue and Emergency Services has 2 concerns about this proposal. Town bylaw, chapter 247.3, should not be reduced to allow separation distance between built dwellings from 45 feet to 21 feet. and related fire codes 527 CMR 1.00 Chapter 18 Fire Department Access requires an apparatus turnaround big enough for our largest piece of apparatus. Sincerely, Nicholas Grasso, Deputy Chief. And Deputy Chief Grasso is here tonight, so do you want to elaborate on that?
Sure, with the apparatus turnaround, we're looking for like a handle-style, T-style, or a cul-de-sac. Just because our ladder truck is roughly around 50 feet long, so anything over 150 feet in length is a road that needs a turnaround. And parking spots can't count as a turnaround.
Okay. All right, so with that, let me go to members of the board for comments and questions. Mr. Jones, anything?
My only concern was with the deputy chief I know that 20 feet is the minimum for the driveway, but this is 7 buildings, and at the minimum, if there's a snowstorm, how are they getting down there, moving and turning around? So that was my biggest concern.
Okay. Mr. Winnett?
As Courtney mentioned, she's actually been in front of the Conservation Commission twice, I believe, and they've had site visits as well. So I'm pretty familiar with what the plans were. And I think that she's done a really good job of addressing concerns that we've raised. So I appreciate that. And based on the design, I didn't remember this one building that's inside of the 100-foot buffer having a full basement. Is that going to be a grade? Are you going to be digging?
Well, it's in the 100 buffer.
Oh, the one that,
Yeah, I just didn't remember that one. Having a
I
full
will-
basement.
go to the grade. So the existing grade at the back of that building right now is 142, and the basement's gonna be at 148. So we're actually 6 feet above grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But other than that, I have no other concerns over what's been raised.
Okay. Mr. Travis?
I share the concerns of the fire department on building separation and the layout of the road.
Okay. All right, Mr. Keenan?
My only question is there any consideration to doing a few less bedrooms instead of having every one of them 3 bedrooms? And that's quite a few bedrooms that you're adding to the town.
I'm not sure if there was a lot of discussion about that. Something that could be discussed.
I know over the years it's a big concern of some, the people in town about 3 bedrooms and increasing school population and things like that. So I was just wondering if it was, half and half, or
Yeah, maybe change them.
cut down the number of 3-bedroom units.
Yeah, we can certainly talk to the applicant about that. I know at the time he was just looking at marketability, but we'll definitely discuss that with him and let him know that that's a concern.
That's my own.
Okay. Colin?
So the utilities are going to be underground, starting on Tilson Street, then coming in.
Just for this new driveway. So there's
Right.
overhead wires going to a utility pole on Rye Hill Street. We're proposing to basically connect to that and put it underground, but just for the development.
Then you'd be underground from there.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't understand the parking. According to our bylaws, the 3-unit building, each one of those duplexes needs to have 6 spots. 2.6. You can't just add them all up.
No.
I would say that, each unit is supposed to have 3 spots.
Well, if you do 14 times 2.6,
That includes this parking that's visitor parking, right?
yes.
So you have just enough parking?
Yep. So the
And
math is
no
extra.
extra.
No extra. We don't have room for extra.
So yes, so the 0.6, you've got 2 for each unit, in other words. And the 0.6
Exactly
is coming from
2.6.
those extras. Yeah, okay. How about mailbox, the kiosk for mailboxes?
We had a community mailbox that we showed on the plan originally,
Not that they,
but it's not there now. And we wanted to sort of discuss with the town how to best.
yeah, I think that's something you'll have to figure out, because, the post office is gonna require it.
Yeah.
They won't let them have individual mailboxes. Lighting down the street? Is there any shown on the plan, just so I don't have to look?
All on the landscaping plan, it shows the lights.
So are they just the pole lights out front of the units?
Yes, so these little like circles with a
Yeah.
cross on it.
So in other words, they're gonna all have a pole light that's on every night?
Yeah, so we got a pole light in this corner, Bob.
Yeah.
And then, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think there's actually a couple more that are hidden by the landscape. There's at least 9 that are visible on the plan around this parking area.
Yeah, I don't suppose I have a problem with that. I don't like the fact that this is only 20 feet wide, and you do need to turn around for the fire department. Your units, excuse me, but your units are there any 3 bedrooms?
Yeah, we have some now, yes.
You have some 3 bedroom.
Yeah, because there were some that were built that have an unfinished basement that people have since finished the basement.
When you bought them new, they were 2, right?
Correct.
All of them were 2?
All of them, yes.
That's all I have.
Right. Mr. Kimball?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you said that you were gonna have a sewer pump up to the sewer line. That's gonna be the property of the condominium or the developer?
Yes,
Yes.
And
Yes,
is that
that'll
gonna
be-
have a generator with it?
yes, we are proposing that.
Okay. It looks very challenging for snow removal. Has there been any consideration for that? Where you're gonna put the snow?
Visitor parking lot was the area that we're planning for snow removal. I don't think it's shown.
There will be room for snow removal along the access driveway in on both sides. We have tried to leave some areas of snow removal. We were trying to beef up the landscaping to make it more attractive, but we can make adjustments to this, provide more snow removal area. You know, that's certainly a concern.
Okay. You've got a dumpster. Do you have recycling and a trash dumpster or just a trash dumpster?
We're providing the one pad for right now. I don't know, and forgive me, I'm not familiar with how Whitman does their recycling, if it's all private pickup and how they do
Well,
that.
because it's a condominium more than 3 units.
Yeah, so they'll be responsible for their own pickup. So I'm sure they're gonna wanna pay less for trash and do recycling.
Okay. Because I know other developments after they were built had to increase the size of their pads to allow for recycling.
Okay.
That was us.
And there's no sidewalk going down through there.
No,
And as the chairman spoke of the attic, I would like to see at most a pull-down staircase.
Yeah.
Going to the attic, no stairs, because we've had problems with that. That's all I have at the moment, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Blas?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had many concerns with this plan, but most of them have already been addressed. One question, you're seeking zoning relief. Zoning relief is only granted for hardship. What is the hardship presented that would allow for this board to reduce the distance between the dwellings?
so it's really just kind of around the shape of the property, the topography. I'll take you back to the topographic and grading sheet. This property, if you've been familiar with it, the house kind of sits up on a hill, a very steep knob.
You're at a 26-foot grade.
Yeah, and then we have the extremely steep slope here in the middle of the property, a secondary one down here, and then it continues sloping down to the wetland. So in order to fit like our stormwater management features, maintain green space and open space, this was the layout we came up with the building. So it's really got to do with the shape and topography of the property.
But could you not still build here and maintain the proper relief between the buildings?
Yeah, your point is well taken, sir.
Okay, thank you. We've already talked about who owns the land or the utility easement. That was going to be a concern. The turnaround was a concern. The lighting was a concern. I just see so much wrong here. I almost want to just say you need to tell your applicant to just start again. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
I think I'll echo some of the things that are said. I don't see any reason to reduce the 40 feet to 21 feet other than to let the applicant build more units and make more money, and that's not a sufficient reason to me. So right off the bat, if you eliminated the 2 units at the end, on the eastern end, now you've got room for a cul-de-sac, or whatever appropriate turnaround for fire vehicles, and you've got room to spread out the units to get to 40 feet apart. That knocks it down to 5. But even then, I guess I have to ask: had you done a conventional subdivision plan, just as a concept plan, to see how many houses or dwellings you could put in here if this were developed as a subdivision?
I believe we did originally, and one of the issues we had with that was this distance here coming in is only about 190 feet. Mm-hmm. And trying to bring the road in, meeting Rye Hill at approximately 90-degree angle, bringing a road in, making this corner, and then providing a cul-de-sac, the feasibility wasn't there. It's 2 lots, and the cost of the road doesn't warrant trying to do 2 lots on that property.
So you felt the most you could do with a subdivision was 2 lots? Yeah. Okay. So, again, it's not our role to suggest designs, but things just come to my mind when I looked at the property from Rye Hill Street. Mm-hmm. I'm not familiar, with how it is within the property, but it seemed to me, and your frontage is 122 feet on Rye Hill itself?
Yes.
But, it looks like, practically you've got probably twice that much, except that you've got this odd triangle of land. But, the property is, considerably wide even on Rye Hill Street. It seems to me you could put 2, maybe 3 dwellings on the crest of the hill and have a single, even if it wasn't a subdivision road, a single driveway that goes in from Rye Hill Street and serves those 2 or 3 units. We could conceivably approve duplexes for those. But that's just, sort of another way to go. The parking is a concern. So for some of the units, you have a single car garage and then just 1 parking space in front. I'm all for you only having a single car garage. I see a lot of these condos with 2 car garages that I think are just unnecessary. People just use it for storage anyway. But if you're going to do that, I think you need 2 parking spaces in the driveway, because this isn't a garden-style apartment house where people know that they're going to park their cars in a big parking lot out back. These people are going to expect to be able to park the car at their house. And if they don't have room in the driveway for it, they're going to park it in front of the unit. And you're proposing a 20-foot wide driveway, which is just not going to work for having that situation. So I really think and I agree with Mr. Curran, I think this needs to be considered as 3 parking spaces for a 3-bedroom unit, and to have that on the property, and you have a few visitor spaces, or if you widened the driveway a bit, it wouldn't be such an issue with parking on the street. Or if you have a cul-de-sac at the end, there's several parking spaces that people would use if there's a party going on in the neighborhood. So I think you have other options, but I just look at, and I say, again, I'm not the engineer, but it seems to me if you just put a few units on the crest of the hill with a driveway, now you don't have the expense of this long driveway, you don't have all the detention ponds, and you've got retaining walls there, you just got a lot of structure. You've got a pump for the sewage to pump it up to the street. There's sort of a lot of infrastructure that you have to put in for this project that a simpler project wouldn't have. So that's just observation. Certainly, I think you can sense the board would not be inclined to approve this as is. And I think it's going to be a case of going back to the drawing board. Having with all that, let me go out to, just one more thing on the dumpster. I know you mentioned evergreens. Is it also enclosed by a fence?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Let me go out to members of the public. So anybody wishes to speak on this, would you give us your name and address and speak to it?
Christopher Hatch, 21 Plymouth Street. I'm on the corner of Bright Hill Street. For me, it's just oversaturation for the area that's there. If you look at the other houses that are there, everything has a yard, everything is spaced out. It's just too much going into too small of space.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Yeah.
Mine is,
Can you give us your name?
my name is Chris White, and I'm head of the HOA for 55 Plymouth, which we have
Thank you.
44 units in there. And we had a meeting actually last Friday about this as the HOA. Our main concern is threefold. It's very much piggybacked on what you said is the infrastructure side of it, because I bought mine new, I've lived there 4 years, been on the board, seen everything we have to deal with as a unit and where I'm at. And I just think it'd be way too much work to make it what you want to be. How Whitman wants to see it is a whole different thing. I have no control over that. But then if you even make it that way, then how do you get everything in there? Because where Plymouth Street is right now, there's enough accidents at the corner of, what's the road, South? South, coming out where I am in 58. Never mind if you take that corner where Rye Hill is and you add 20 more cars on a daily basis. Police and fire are not going to be happy with that, especially if they can't even turn around once they get in there. But that's going to increase accidents, and it's just asking for disaster to not only make the development, but maintain the development as it continues. That's my observation. I'm not a civil engineer, but that's just my passion. So
Yeah.
And speaking to that, and I grew up on this street, so pulling out on the 58 from Rye Hill Street, with the house that's now there on the corner, they actually have a fence, so it's even more difficult seeing the traffic coming from Hanson.
I agree.
And they do fly down 58, unfortunately. It is a main route. And I do happen to agree with my neighbor here.
I will say, when I went up there, and I actually walked up there rather than drive up, so I really could look at it. I actually thought the exit from Rye Hill onto 58 wasn't as bad as the exit from
where I am,
from
exactly.
condo.
And I'm twice as wide as Rye
I mean,
Hill.
there's actually decent sight lines coming out of Rye Hill, except cars are going fast.
But just the whole logistics side is what bothers me with this.
Yeah. And were you speaking of looking at it from the point of view of a homeowners association, that there'd be difficulties in
No, because
the
you
HOA?
go, 2.5 years to build the darn thing, which is going to inconvenience everybody. If you're going to have to build it, you're going to have to put in a traffic light to inconvenience all of us in the meantime. And then once it's built, you've increased traffic and everything. It's not a place for it to be. It's just not it's sort of what you said originally. Put 2 houses there, put 3 houses and expand Rye Hill, but it's not a place for that many.
What is the width of Rye Hill Street? Any idea?
It's
tiny.
It's narrow.
It's
tiny.
Two vehicles have a tough time even.
Yeah, it's like 20 feet
When
wide
the
in
snows-
itself.
With the snow this winter, you were
20.
lucky to get one vehicle up.
It was not a comfortable thing.
That was a lot of roads this winter, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I believe the Rye Hill, it's an old layout, it's a 40-foot wide layout.
It's 22
Yeah.
feet pavement to pavement and
Yeah.
21 feet pavement
So
to pavement.
21 to 22 feet pavement.
Yeah.
So that gives you an idea of,
And you're adding 20 cars on a regular basis now. It's not going to work.
so we can do one of two things. Either you can ask us for leave to withdraw without prejudice and start all over, but then when you come back, we'll have to reapply, have ads in the paper, all that. If you think this is something, you can turn around and come back with a different proposal in 4 to 6 weeks. We can simply continue the hearing and let you do that.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely ask for continuances to the chance to discuss it with the client,
Okay.
find out what he wants to do, which route he wants to go, and then we'll certainly keep you updated if something changes.
Okay. And how long do you think I mean, we're talking sometime in August. But,
Yeah.
what,
Yeah, your August meeting, I think, would be a good target.
Every kid's back in school.
well, if it's, I mean, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, what do you, I don't want to,
Oh,
I don't
you
want, I don't want a
have meetings
situation
scheduled,
where you come back and say we're not ready yet.
Okay.
Because that inconveniences members of the public and us and so forth. So,
Yeah, why don't we say 8 weeks? 'Cause I know you also have to advertise and whatnot. So-
we don't actually, if we're just continuing,
Oh, right, yeah,
we don't have to re-advertise.
So
So
yeah,
that's what
let's
we're
do 8 weeks.
All right. So if we did on the, say the 24th for that one, Ed won't be here, but I think we've already got, but at least all the people that are sitting to vote on it, I think would be here on the 24th, right? Is that the one you got?
That's the one I'm not,
Okay.
give me 1 second, I'll
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Can you give me a copy?
I could go the 17th and then put the new case on to the 24th. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay, August 17th, I think is like 7 weeks
Yeah,
out.
that's fine.
Okay, let's continue it to August 17th
I'll make a motion to continue August 17th.
at 7 p.m.
Yeah, 7 p.m.
Okay, all
Are
in
you gonna
favor?
have another one that night too?
No,
No.
we'll put the other one on for, we'll schedule a different meeting night
So
for
this
the
will be
other.
all by itself?
By itself, yeah.
Okay.
Second to that motion? Motion by Mr. Kimball, second by Mr. Keenan, all in favor? 5-0. Okay, you will not get another notice. Okay, we won't be sending out another notice for the meeting, so if you just make a note of it, August 17th at 7 p.m.
Which is what day?
Monday, August 17th at 7 p.m., in case you want to come back on this. Okay, all set, thank you.
Are we all set?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you for coming, giving us your input.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, can you give me your name?
So my name is Patrick. The last name is Carrara.
All right. And Courtney,
Courtney.
your last name?
Yep, her last name is Beckwith.
How do you spell it?
Beckwith.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's not a public,
So there'll be something for that.
on the public, on the meeting.
Okay, so other business for the board. So we have a meeting on,
Yeah, anything you don't want to bring back, just throw it in my trunk.
yeah, first.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Night.
Good
Night.
Night.
Thank you.
Okay, July 20th, we already have 2 cases scheduled and set for advertising. That's 138 South Ave, which is an ADU, and 96 Cherry Street, which is proposed 4 condominium units to replace a single-family house.
Is that Marshall's property?
And somebody new bought it, I think, so I don't know who I don't know who had it.
All right.
So that's for the 20th, and I'm going to be asking them to give me plans that I can send out to all. This one we've continued to August 17th. So the other case to schedule is 447 Harvard Street, Northville Village, where they've purchased an additional small piece of land, and they want to change the site plan, change some duplexes to single units and whatnot. So it's an application to amend the site plan approval for that property.
Does that have to be advertised?
Yes.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking either the 24th or the 31st for that.
July?
No, August. I'm looking at August. August 10th, I can't make it on the 10th. August 3rd might be. Is that too early, August 3rd?
Yeah.
Is that too early to August 3rd?
This, I'm trying to think how many abutters I got. Quite a few. Yeah, I imagine, yeah. So I can get it done this week.
It wasn't too many.
Yeah.
All right, how about, Tim's the only one who couldn't make that meeting, so August 3rd for 447 Harvard Street? All right, let's do that. Okay, and we've got a couple of minutes here. This is for the cemetery minutes for case number 6. So let's see. It was myself, Bob Curran, Bob Keeman, Ed, and Harold were here for that one.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Curran,
Second.
second by Mr. Gwinnett. All in favor on that one? 5-0. And then the general minutes. Just might as well make it the same 5 people for that one.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Gwinnett. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Jones. All in favor? 5-0 on that.